listening to Guitar Goddess Radio with Ezina, only on LA Talk Radio.
Well, welcome to the Guitar Goddess Show. You are in for a treat today. We have the incredibly talented Sarah Lightman here. And Sarah is going to give you guys just a lot of fun information today. She's from a musical family. She's a graduate of Temple University, where she studied musical theater. And today she's here to talk about her new EP and life on the road as a musician. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thank you.
It's so exciting to have you here today. You know, you're from the East Coast originally, and you play guitar, obviously. And what brought you to California?
That's a good question. To adjust myself for this one. So upon graduating college, I was like, where do you go? Where do you go?
Yeah.
The world is so big. And all my connections when I was doing acting at the time were all going here. So I thought, okay, maybe I should consider LA. And I made like a checklist and said, you know what, why not? I'm young.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just went, and it was really confusing and scary at first because it doesn't look anything like Philadelphia unless you go downtown, and then it kind of does. But it just went, and it just felt like the place to stay. So I stayed.
That's cool. That's cool. And so, you know, while you were at Temple University, you're studying musical theater, you're acting, you're singing. Like, what took you from focusing on acting into music?
It's actually really interesting. So before I even entered college, I was doing the music thing first.
Okay.
I was all about the voice. But upon college, I didn't know how to turn the singer-songwriter thing into a career. And everyone goes to college, so I thought, okay, I guess I should go to college too. What can I do with my voice? So I thought musical theater was a good fit because I do like to dance and I like to act. It's fun. So I thought, okay, maybe this is my path. So I went into that, and while it was a lot of fun and everything, it wasn't until after I moved out to LA that I just sort of fell back in because I would be between projects. And a lot of people write a play, and my go-to was, I want to make a mashup, or I want to write a song. So that's what I did, and I would release it on SoundCloud, and they didn't sound too good back then. They sounded really fun, though. And then YouTube, and I just kind of kept doing that on the side. I did make one new media short at one time right before I quit, but I was so into music by that point, it felt like the right thing to let go of the acting and just focus on the singer-songwriter thing.
That's cool. And you know, you're from a musical family. Your dad is a recording artist, and your cousin is also a recording artist. So did they influence you in any way towards going back into the music, or?
Interesting. Interestingly enough, when I was younger and I had, some insecurities, I thought, oh, well, we already have a singer-songwriter in the family. My cousin, Toby Lightman, does all this stuff. Maybe I should do the acting thing. Yeah. So, and then with my dad, unfortunately, my dad had passed away when I was pretty young, like 14 or so, and he was inspiring to a point. But I think partly because he passed away, I didn't know quite how to steer it. So I just sort of went off of, well, my cousin's a singer, so maybe I should act. So yes and no. Inspiring in a way where their sounds have inspired me, their tone. I used to listen to both of them. Like, I'd be showering and singing, and no one knew what I was singing in college, and harmonizing with them in the shower. So I would imitate their sounds and just sort of embellish them. So they have inspired me in the sound style way, but not in towards the direction of career way, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. That totally makes sense. Are there any other singers, like, outside of your family that you look to and would say they inspired me to push forward with the music?
In terms of that, I think a lot of it was self-motivation, but there are some local singers in LA. I remember the moment when I came to my head, I should be doing this, was it's a local artist, Dylan Dunlap. He was playing in Crave Cafe, and he was playing something so beautiful, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I should be doing. That was like the moment. So I'm seeing him play on Friday, So I'd say like he's a local inspiration, but still equally valuable, I think. Other singers, I would say, Sarah Bareilles has always been a big inspiration because while she's with a label, she's very much, this is me, and take it or leave it, and I really like that and respect that.
Absolutely. And, I find that as an artist, paving your own way and trying to find your sound is really important, and that's something that you've done really well.
Thanks.
When I met you, I'm like, oh yeah, all of it made sense. Sometimes you meet artists and you listen to their music and you look at them and you're like, there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
And you've seemed to at a very early age figured out like what your vein is in music, and you're doing quite well with that. And you're also doing some busking, so
yeah. So upon getting serious about the singer-songwriter thing, my producer and my boyfriend, adjusting myself again. This is just going to be an ongoing thing.
These seats are big. These seats are like man size.
Right,
they're not
and
really
I'm just
goddess
like,
size.
Where do I go?
Yeah, you could fit like two of us. Actually, we could use one chair.
Or 1.5.
1.5,
right? Where was I?
Busking.
Right, street performing.
How did we start doing this?
So he was saying I should just go do it, and I was like, "You're crazy." Okay, I'll try it, because I try to be as open-minded as I can, because my past self and younger self was always second guessing, and now I'm just thinking, just go do it, and if I fail, I fail, and then at least I know I tried. So I did it, and it felt really good. The first time I had a lot of friends show up to support me, to support that this is on the path. Yeah. And strangers would walk by, and it was like a cold, windy night in Burbank. And I only got $3, but $3 to me was like $1 million.
Yeah.
And people would pass by and smile, and I felt that I affected them in a positive way that I felt I could do for the rest of my life. So...
I love that and I love that you said that you only got $3, because when you're busking, like, I think when you do it the first time, you have this idea, like, either you're going to get nothing or you're going to get like hundreds of dollars. There's no in between.
Yeah. But it's a gamble.
It is a gamble, but it takes so much courage to go out and do it, to perform. And I love that you had friends show up as well, because that's really, I was too embarrassed to call my friends and let them know that what I was doing, but I love that. I love that you set yourself up to have a support system, even going at this for the first time. And that's so key. And I think that as artists, sometimes you go and you do things as the Lone Ranger, and community is really, really key and very important. So I applaud you for that. That was really smart to like call your friends and like, you guys, you don't have to put any money in the bucket, but just come and hang with me.
It's just like, this is a party. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. And what was their response?
Well, they told me what songs that they really liked.
Okay.
And they just they kept smiling at me to make sure I wouldn't pee my pants as I did. So that was really helpful, just that they gave me a very positive, calm vibe, just going, we're here, we're not leaving. Doesn't matter if you mess up or sing out of tune or faint or anything, we'll stay. So that was very helpful, and I felt very, very strong doing it.
That's really brilliant. And and as you continued on doing it, like, how did you feel? Like, I always imagine, because I've only done busking a handful of times, and I'm just going to be honest, like, the first time I think I got, like, some change, and I ended up giving it away. And the next few times I did it, I got a few bucks. But for me, I didn't feel confident enough to keep going. So I really honor, musicians who can keep at it.
Yeah, I think there's such a negative connotation that goes to our mind, like thinking, oh, they must be really troubled and they have to play on the street. So that's always, I feel, the first hurdle to get past I guess I was raised to believe that the best people were not on the street, but coming here in LA where people play music everywhere and they just there's no shame. I got past it, and yeah, so I think what kept me going ultimately, though, is I'm actually a very, very shy person. So when I perform, it's actually not for me. It's actually for the audience. I actually don't like the spotlight, I guess. I mean, it's fun being on a radio show, and it's fun to talk and everything and get to know people, but I'm very shy. So it was the biggest hurdle was being able to just continuously connect and remain present with everybody, because, and I still, that's my daily challenge, is being able to connect with them even if my eyes are closed, to reach them emotionally. So that was my biggest hurdle, but that actually motivated me to keep doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And, and you're working on so many different projects right now. We have your new EP, which we're going to talk about today. But I want to talk a little bit about your songwriting process.
Okay.
How do songs come to you? Do they come, does the melody come first? Does the lyric comes first? Do you have to experience something? Tell us a little bit about your songwriting process.
It's very interesting you say all those things, because everything. Pretty much everything. When I was in high school, I would just write lyrics to a cadence, and then it would just stay as lyrics, and there would be almost no melody. But now, I would say sometimes both come together at once. I'm a crazy person. I hear things in my head, and I just go with it. Sometimes I have a musician playing a beat. My friend Omar, who plays drums with me, plays a beat. And then I'm like, okay, and I just let it in and feel it in the vibe. Sometimes I have a guitar playing in the background, and sometimes I do come across something in my life that goes, wow, I should really write a song about this. And then I write it down. And sometimes if I'm in the moment where I can write it right now, I write it, and then if not, I leave it off till later, and then I start brainstorming at that date and time, and that's kind of where I go from there. So it's a combination of things.
That's neat. And do you have a daily regimen that you use? Do you write every day? Do you get up and you're like, okay, first thing I'm going to write, or what is your process?
Interesting. Everything is interesting.
I ask really weird questions.
Because I feel like I should be a celebrity answering it.
You are a celebrity.
Yes, I'm a celebrity.
You're a goddess.
Hair flip.
Right, exactly.
I actually make a to-do list that I modify over time. My to-do list for the week, and then what I want to get accomplished within a month. And I literally write it down, and I modify it over time. And I used to be a perfectionist where everything had to be done perfectly and every day. And now I give myself permission to go, okay, I didn't get this done today, but I can get it done tomorrow. I have enough time. So in terms of songwriting, I try to songwrite or edit a song at least once a week. Been trying to do it a lot more since I've been starting to do the street performing almost full time. So I've been having more time now, which is awesome, and I feel really lucky to be able to do that, because not everybody can do that. So it's either writing a song, editing a song, or going into the studio and modifying a song, or just putting it down and seeing what it sounds and what we can just go from there. So I do that. I continuously try to learn covers. I have a huge list of Spotify list of what to listen to. Of a lot of them are suggestions from fans too. I try to take in what they tell me to, and if I feel something, I'll learn it. If I don't, I'll just listen to it, just out of respect for the fan, because I do think that every person is valuable to some degree. But it also helps my songwriting process to listen to the more styles that you can. You're like, wow, I never heard it that way. Does that work for my music? So you just try, trial and error,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like life.
Yeah, exactly. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And talking about this whole organization of street performing, writing and recording and collaborating with other people, like, how do you market yourself as an artist?
Okay.
You know, you've got your performances here. You've got just a lot going on. Like, how do you market all of that and build your fan base?
Well, in terms of that, of course, everybody uses social media now. Yeah. But I have a logo that has my face. I had it designed actually by a former coworker who was very good at drawing, and I wanted to inspire him to keep at it. So I hired him to design it, and it's my face, but it's like a cartoon version, so it doesn't look exactly like me. And then it has my sunglasses, blue in the background. And the reason I thought about it is there's so many singer-songwriters and artists out there, and it's easy to just get them mixed up with somebody else. But I think the best way is to brand yourself in a specific way that's you, but also what people see you as too. Because with the sunglasses, the red ones, I don't even know why I keep getting red sunglasses, but I literally got this pair at you know where you get a raffle at a car thing, and it's like you get a free something with it. So one of them was sunglasses. I said, okay, I'll take the sunglasses. I just lost mine because I lose my sunglasses all the time. And they were red, and then they eventually broke because they're really cheap. They look just like this. And someone said, where's your sunglasses, your red sunglasses? I don't know. I lost them. They're just sunglasses. Yeah. They got me another pair, and then my mom got me a pair. Now I have like 3 pairs. My boyfriend got me a pair from Paris. It's crazy, just
in all red,
right? Wow. And so obviously, I think the universe is saying that that red is a very strong expression of me being an artist in some way. So I thought the sunglasses were a great idea to represent myself. There's an artist called Bright Lights. She wears a purple wig, and she always wears something purple all the time. I thought I should do that. So the sunglasses were like kind of like what I thought of. So that's part of the logo, and how I market myself. The blue in the logo actually represents my Luna guitar that I don't play as often anymore, but my brother got it for me a while ago, just a little bit before college, and I started street performing with that. And when I wouldn't play with it, people say, "Where'd it go?
They
you still have it?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I have it. It's a big guitar. So when you're standing for hours, you want something a little smaller." So I wanted to include that color into it. I feel like these two are my color schemes, the red and the blue, to some extent. So yeah, that's sort of how I've been marketing myself, and the logo's the biggest one, I think.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the red sunglasses, and that the universe just kept going, here's another pair, and here's another pair, and here's another. You're like, no, I'm good. No, but here's another pair.
Yeah, I literally had 3 in the car the other day. My boyfriend gets in, and he's like, why are there so many pairs? I don't know. They're just there.
You need them. We need different pair anyways. Are they all the exact same style? Or
They're not.
Yeah, see?
2 of them are the cheapy pair. Like, this is a Fiat pair, just like the ones I had.
Driving the Fiat car.
Yeah, I don't have one, but, it's fine. The ones from Paris are more of an aviators, and they're a little bit more sturdy. And I try not to wear those out because they're more valuable. Yeah. So I wear them when I play in-house gigs instead.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And you mentioned your blue Luna guitar.
Yes.
Like, tell me about your guitars that you play. What's your...
Okay. Well, the guitar that I play now mostly is my Sawtooth. It's a parlor guitar, so it's smaller, it's lighter. I'm a small person, so when I street perform and when I play gigs, it's just easier for my wrist and my arm to just move and to carry. It's still a really beautiful guitar. It doesn't stand out and stop traffic like the Luna, but so I enjoy the Sawtooth. I don't know how old it is. It was found in a pawn shop. Just someone turned it in the day before. It was maybe less than $100 because they probably didn't know where it came from either, and it just sounded so beautiful that it had to be taken home. So I play that mostly. There is one company when I was at NAMM last year that I really thought it was a very cool, modern, forward-thinking company, which was the Riversong guitars. The neck on the guitar is adjustable.
Oh.
You can adjust it. You can adjust the action. Yeah. There's also a hole up top.
Yeah.
So you can hear yourself better, so you're not like,
oh, nice.
So,
I got to check that out.
Yeah, the concert one is the one that I like.
Okay.
So whenever a fairy godmother gives me the money to go get one or something, I will totally support the company.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one that I'm looking forward to getting into. And then I grew up with Martin guitars because my dad, he had a lot of guitars. And one of them that he played with a pink polka dot strap.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that.
He's so interesting. I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, send me a picture. I want to see that.
Is a Martin guitar, and Martins have such a warm sound.
Yes.
And they're so well known that like everybody wants one eventually. So that's definitely another guitar company that I highly respect. So.
And what about pedals? Do you use pedals? And
I don't use pedals. I'm still kind of scared to use them because it's like press, play. Okay, I had to press it again, or it's gonna keep going. But I definitely will definitely break out of my comfort zone and start trying one at least.
Yeah. Just
to like see where it goes. You know. So.
And what about amps? Any amps that you?
Yeah,
love?
I currently have a Sweetwater amp.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I had two very, very kind and loving donators who. I was having amp trouble with the cube that I had. I put it in for repairs, and it took a little bit longer, and I needed to go out and play again. So they're like, why don't I just, get you an amp because I'm investing in your music? And I was like, wow, that's incredibly nice of you. Okay. So, they said, just pick out whatever amp. So of course I got the sound engineer on board, and we picked out the Sweetwater, and it's a really great amp because even though it's really big, it's a lot bigger than the Cube. It fills majority of where I play. So I could play in a venue and it fills the whole room. I can play at Universal and it fills the whole fountain court. It could fill like the Starbucks area without any problem. The sound is really good. So I enjoy using it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, we've been talking about the making of the music and the instruments to use the music. Let's talk a little bit about your new EP, Fear.
Okay.
So tell us how it came to be, and then we want to play one of the songs from it.
Okay. Fear, the album, actually came, Fear the song, which is the song that we're going to be playing from Fear, was actually something I wrote for a vlog. And the time signature was actually different before it was on this album. It was in 3/4 before.
Okay.
And it needed to be modified because that's what happens over time.
Yes.
And when I wrote it, it was after I had moved to LA, and I had been a very codependent person at the time. And I went from a very heartbreaking codependent relationship that had broken off upon moving to just finding my way out through the world and, going from a roommate to living alone and just adjusting and the way I found the ground and the way I surprised myself, even though, of course, my mom was probably thinking right now, you could have done it anytime. So I chose to write the song to share my wisdom with people going, wow, the things that you're really afraid of, or the things that you think that you can't do, you actually can do, as long as it isn't hurting anybody else.
Absolutely.
So the song is actually about myself, and let's just play it, and I don't want to over-explain it.
All right. Fear by Sarah Lightman. Here we go.
There's something I'm feeling. I see the room spinning, and I can't remember how to breathe. I don't want to hurt you, but I'm really aching. These hands won't stop shaking indefinitely. Please don't run away. I'm working through my past. Take a chance and stay. sing so I can be free. Please don't run away. I'm working through my past. Take a chance and stay. Fear is not made to last. She's still there. She's enough for the world. She's strong. She doesn't need anyone. The dark will fade, and she will heal, 'cause she will fight. She'll fight past all of the fear. And through this I learn we all are capable. You can choose to be afraid, or you can face those demons and send them all away. She's still there. She's enough for the world. She is strong. She doesn't need anyone. The dark will fade, and she will heal. 'Cause she she'll fight past all of the
Wow. That was incredible. Wow, that was great.
Yeah. My favorite part about the track is that the violin that you're hearing on is actually my cousin, Jonathan Russell, and he's like a crazy child prodigy, and he's kind of graduated into more than that now. But when we were producing it, I thought, we need violin. We need wait, we should get my cousin. So he lives in New York, so when he happened to fly in, I let him stay at my house, and he said, okay, I'll play you for free. And then I bought him some In and Out, and
Yeah, I love it.
because he's never had it before,
Oh.
but, until now.
Okay,
So
now he's addicted.
Now he has it and he likes it, and so he's playing on it, and it's just perfect. I couldn't have imagined anything more than what I already have.
Yeah, it's great. It's wonderful. I was very surprised with the violin when it came in. I'm like, oh wow, it gave a whole nother dimension to the song, and it was really great. I love the lyrics. The lyrics are very empowering and inspiring, and I just feel like, keep going with this. This is really, fantastic, and I love that you were writing about fear, because I feel like a lot of people have these gifts that are hidden, and part of the reason of the show is to shed a light on all of the wonderful female musicians in the world and all of the work that you're doing, which is so powerful. And I'm just so proud of you and so happy, and I love this project, and I love the song, and I'm just happy right now, because it's such a great song that needed to be written, And you said you wrote it about yourself, but everybody can relate, to being afraid, going out on the road, being a musician, staying safe. And let's circle back about that. Like, how do you stay safe on the road? There's a lot to being a woman and being a musician, and you're out doing street performing. You're also going to gigs and venues and things, and you also have to stay healthy. So let's talk a little bit about all of that.
Okay. Well, aside from carrying pepper spray, I actually gave that away at the airport because I forgot to take it out of my purse.
Oh,
But it's okay. I'll get a new one because
Yeah.
the girl needed it. She's like, "Can I use this?"
yeah,
I said,
absolutely.
"Okay, sure. I don't want
Yes.
it to go to waste." So I mostly play a lot of local gigs here because I'm trying to build my following and then expand. But and on the East Coast, it's usually around family, so I'm a little safer, I guess,
Okay.
for those gigs at the moment. Could change, I guess. So when in terms of being safe and remaining safe, I used to be very passive towards, especially men who, think they have permission when you're just being polite.
Yes.
And then my voice teacher actually inspired me. She said, you can choose to be the victim or let them know that it's not in the cards. And she says during a gig, she literally in Japan or China, someone fell on her boobs or something.
What?
And she literally flipped out on them to make them go away. She said, "You have to be crazy sometimes."
Yeah.
It's like it's either you're gonna be taken control by a crazy person or you got to be the crazy person and push them away. So I really thought that was very inspiring, and I don't do that per se, but I definitely put up like a wall of if I can't tell if the person is going to be if their vibe is a little mixed, sometimes I wait a little bit to give them eye contact, or I do, but then I go right back to looking somewhere else because it holds off the permission that they think that they might have, because my music is very warm and inviting too, so it's also it's a double-edged sword in a way. So that's definitely one thing that I do when I'm street performing. In terms of gigs, I haven't had too many issues as of yet playing in venues, but usually I would tell the bartender, or if there's security, I'll tell security about it immediately if I have an issue, anything like that. But I think just your body language will say a lot to that person too, because if you're in your head, you're thinking, like I respect you and thank you for listening, but also, I'm here and you're over there and you're going to stay over there. I think people do get a pretty good message, but if they aren't, I always just use the resources around me.
That's very smart. That's
Yeah.
very smart. And staying healthy. You and I talked a little bit before about we have allergies in
Yes.
common. And you don't really think about that being a singer-songwriter, but it's really important. So talk a little bit about your allergies and, how you're staying healthy with them and how that affects you as a musician.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple things. I also have I have celiac disease, so I can't eat gluten. So remaining gluten-free, I know when I start touring regularly is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a lot of salad, but that's kind of okay,
Yeah.
But luckily, I think the world is opening up to the point where there's going to be enough options by the time I'm regularly going out there all the time. But in terms of the allergies, I started doing allergy shots. I heard that they were, I just started doing them yesterday, so I
Okay.
can't give you strong reviews yet. But I know when I play outside, especially within hay fever season, within an hour, I can't breathe out of my nose, which cuts off, the higher part of my range. The musicians, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So it's like chest voice, and then like my throat, and then I like get to my nose and it cuts it off here. So I was just like, oh my goodness, I need to do something, but I didn't want to take medication for the rest of my life. I believe that the body should be able to fix itself.
Absolutely.
So I went to the doctor and I told him I actually don't even have a sense of smell right now because they were so bad in Philly that it just went away. And he said, of course you can get your sense of smell back. You're broken. Let's fix you. Okay. So he sent me to the allergist down the hall, and she did a skin test and we did blood tests, and found out I was allergic to everything pretty much in the air and dogs and cats. And I have a cat and I still love her and I'm not giving her up no matter what. So then she said, we can do the shots, and she has a daughter who has worse allergies than me. Like, she's allergic to like 47 things. Crazy.
Wow.
And she's been doing them. She said it's been helping her. I said, well, if they can help her, they've got to help me. So I don't know if I highly recommend them yet because I just started, but yeah, I do the shots every other day, and it's basically you give yourself what you're allergic to, and there's different levels to build up your immunity to the point where you're not allergic to it anymore because your body is able to handle it. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Sign me up for that.
Right?
Because, as a singer and musician as well, touring, especially when you're performing at high altitudes, it's like you can't breathe.
Yeah.
I was booked one time to go out of the country to do a gig outside, a really big gig outside, and I could barely breathe. And at the time, I didn't know anything about the shots and all that sort of thing. So I love how healthcare is shifting, to give us options.
Yeah.
Well, like taking the shots. Yes, you just started it, but just that there are options out there. And that's why I wanted, exactly. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it, because I know we're not the only two musicians in the world that have allergies and have had gigs where you're like, I can barely breathe.
Yeah. Or you're just sneezing nonstop.
Exactly. And your eyes are all puffy and, they think you're high. And it's like, no, these are allergies.
Yeah, and I've lost my voice because of it, So it's definitely dire to take care of.
Yes, you have to take care of yourself. There are options out there. And physically, how do you stay active?
Well, I do a lot of yoga.
Okay, yay!
Because I also have anxiety, because anxiety runs in my family too. Allergies
and all
anxiety.
musicians. I've never met a musician that didn't have some sort of anxiety. It's just kind of
the music is that channel to help with the anxiety.
Yes.
So, so the yoga really helps me connect my body and mind, because sometimes you're not mentally experiencing anxiety, but your body is showing something. So for me, it helps connect the both. And then also because my brain does have a lot of energy, it does help to learn how to focus and channel it, because it helps with my performance, but also as a person, just to have a conversation and listen to someone, because when your anxiety's going, your mind's there and their mind's there, and you feel really bad, and you're just trying to listen and be a good person. So I do a lot of yoga. I try to do the love and kindness meditation, and I've just started doing the love and kindness meditation, and I think that it helps. And then sometimes I just started meeting up with a friend in the park to do some yoga. So
nice.
That's also inspiring when you grab a little buddy and go.
Exactly. It's a lot of fun. Although I wonder how are the allergies in the park with the yoga?
That day I took allergy medication.
Okay, there you go.
So it wasn't too bad, other than like itchiness from touching the grass.
Yeah.
So other than that, it was okay. But other than that, I mean, go to the beach if your allergies are really bad. The sea salt in the water definitely helps with the sand.
So good.
Yeah. But it's hard to balance on the sand. I would fall over if I ever did it there, but maybe that'll be a challenge for the future.
I love it. Well, I want to talk to you about this next track, which is called Home. And this is one of your newer ones.
Correct. It is finally done with production. It'll be released soon. We're also in talks of making an awesome music video, and I'm very excited about putting that together. And Home is something that I wrote a couple months ago while moving in with my boyfriend, because when you're an adult and you're a little kid and you imagine, oh, this is what life is going to be like, and then I'm going to do this, and it's going to look like this, and it doesn't look anything like that.
It never does, right?
My anxiety came into play during that time. I was like, well, I should write about this. So I did, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, this is Home by Sarah Lightman.
About the life we're building now. I'm scared of the change, the things we will face. I'm dealing with the indecision. How will we complete our vision? Which steps should I take to move in with grace? Then I give gave myself a chance to clear my mind. And when I did, I broke down and cried. 'Cause I'm home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. This is what I wanted, but I never thought it'd be this good. Will I lose my independence by living with a human presence? Will I lose my mind, be reassigned? There is no way to see tomorrow, or how will I adjust and follow? Will I be alright choosing this flight? Then I gave myself the chance to clear my mind. And when I did, I broke down and cried. 'Cause I'm home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. This is what I wanted, but I never thought it'd be this good.
Wow, that's a different sound for you. I love it.
Yeah, upon finding, feel like I found my sound vocally as an artist. In terms of style, it's always just evolving, and I feel that my sound is kind of going in. It's pop definitely, but it's more of like a rooted pop, soul, folk kind of a sound, and I feel like that's the direction it's definitely going to be continuing. I will say, I know you guys probably heard some voices that didn't sound like me in that. So we had a couple friends come on it. My friend, he's known as the James Pearson, Jimmy came on it, and then another friend, Leo, she's from New York. She came on it, and we just wanted some really soulful sound. And just some friends to get together and make something really good. And I'm all about, as I rise, I want my friends to rise with me, because how else are they going to open for me, and how am I going to open for them,
Right.
So, so I'm really happy with the way that came out.
I love
too.
the way it turned out. I was really surprised, like when it started, I was like, whoa, this is totally different from the first track. Like, this is great, to show your versatility as an artist. And that's one of the great things about being indie is that you get to, do all these different styles and just really express yourself in whatever vein. And I just love that you did this. These songs were two totally different sounds, and the first one we had lots of violin. This one we got Leo and did you say James? Jimmy Pierce.
Jimmy, and then it's the James Pearson, but I call him Jimmy because he's my friend.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, this is a lot of fun, and I want you to come back to the show again,
Okay.
And let us know how we can continue to support us,
Sure.
and tell everybody how they can stay in touch with you.
Okay, well, I have a website. It's sarah-lightman.com, because there's a Sarah Lightman in England who took my name, but
Uh-oh.
that's fine.
Uh-oh.
I'm just kidding. It's really okay. So sarah-lightman.com, and I will say also right now I do have a promotional thing on the website. If you go to the media part, we didn't play it, but Boarding Flight 128 is available for free download, so grab your computer and download it for free, no strings attached. I'm also all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube. I'm also, if you guys like iTunes and Amazon and all that good stuff, I'm pretty much on every major music selling platform, because you have to be, because you don't know where anybody wants to buy their music or just listen to it. So you can also listen to my full album on YouTube too, if you like YouTube a lot. Spotify, Pandora, all that good stuff. So you can find me there. My email, you can either find it on my website on the contact spot, or if you can sound it out from this, it's lightman.sarah@gmail.com. And, or you can just find me street performing on the City Walk or in downtown Burbank, and that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. And how often are you on the City Walk?
Well, this month, because of Halloween Horror Nights, and
Yes.
it's my first month with them. Very excited. My first night was last night, and it was
congrats.
incredible. Very warm, welcoming. Stuart, the guy who's in charge of everything, he's such a sweetheart, and I look forward to growing and working with him. And usually about 3 to 4 times a month from what it's looking like so far. But for this month, I'll be there the 17th at night from 6 to 10, and the 30th right before Halloween, 6 to 10. But again, my website also says all of this under the shows, along with everything else that I'm doing. So feel free to check it out.
Well, awesome. You have been just an incredible guest, and you're so generous. You're offering everyone the opportunity to get a free download on your website of Boarding Flight 128.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have to ask you, I was just going to wrap up and let you go, but I need to, it's burning question.
2-hour show.
Yeah, I know, right? 2-hour part 2. Tell me about Boarding Flight 128.
Okay,
I gotta,
name.
Okay,
yeah.
the last story, then I promise I'll let you go.
That's totally fine. I have time.
Okay.
So for Boarding Flight 128, when I was, it was the second one that I co-writing off the EP. The first co-write is Someday, which we didn't play, but you can check it out online. And Boarding Flight 128, I wrote it because during that point, that was right when I met my boyfriend, and after dealing with the codependency part of myself and healing from that, of course you become the exact opposite extreme, which is very independent and like, get away from me, and who are you? What friends? I don't need friends. Because I just, when I first moved here, I just had a lot of interactions with people that just thought it was this way, and it ended up being something else in a negative way. So I was very guarded, and I was very much not myself. In the best version, I would say, because you're always yourself. Mm-hmm. So I wrote the song because it was the first time in a very long time where I was able to be my full self, and he wasn't running.
And you weren't running.
And I wasn't running either. And I was able to be myself in a way that I didn't know was possible. So I felt that, especially as a woman, and I'm tired of people saying women are crazy, because we're crazy, but literally every human on the planet is crazy.
Amen.
We're very strange. I mean, animals don't. We're all animals, but cats and dogs don't go on radio shows like this.
No, they don't. There would be a very short show if they
probably,
did, because
no
they go
attention
ball,
span.
and then there's the dog, and the cat would be, playing with these, it'd be
Right.
upside down playing
Yeah,
with their
chewing on
headphones.
it.
Yeah, chewing. It would just be a very short show.
So it's really to inspire all humans that, I think the more that we are our full self, it might start a revolution, a tiny revolution, or maybe a big one, but I think it'll go in a positive direction, because I think that we should be able to live in a society where we are embraced for the things that are our qualities and our quirks.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
For sure.
Everyone, please visit sarah-lightman.com and download the single that she's so generously donating to us, giving to us, Boarding Flight 128. Make sure you follow her on social media. She's everywhere on social media. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all is Sarah-Lightman. Is that the...
Sarah-Lightman is just the site. It's just Sarah Lightman for the other stuff.
Oh, good. You got it for the others.
Yes,
you were right on
I
it.
beat her.
Oh, good. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so you got it. Sarah Lightman on social, all over socials. And make sure you also check out GuitarGoddess.com. Sign up for our newsletter where you will get an opportunity to win one of the CDs from Sarah Lightman, and also to find out about all of our incredible guests and everything that's happening in Guitar Goddess land. So visit GuitarGoddess.com for updates and to join our newsletter. Until next time, you guys, stay tuned and keep rocking. We'll be back here next week, same time. All right, ciao.
You're listening to Guitar Goddess Radio with Ezina, only on LA Talk Radio.